Hey y'all, this is Robin Roan, and I was just going to tell y'all a little bit on how to keep it clean using the smear technique. I've got a 16 by 20 canvas up here, and we're going to paint some acrylic on it first and get a basic idea of how we want it laid out. Do something a little different today. Instead of using green where I want the green, I want my grass to show up differently. So I just got the Bob Ross black gesso, and it's acrylic based. It's an acrylic paint, but I was going to do a landscape, and I was going to use some different effects. I was going to use some sap green, and if you just want to paint this the same as I do, you can learn how different paints work, different colors work. And I was just putting on the Bob Ross black gesso using an acrylic brush. It can be washed out using water. And you just rinse that right out. Try not to get too much of it down the sink if you can. It tends to clog drains a bit. So that's how you keep that clean. Just wash it out in water, bucket, maybe throw it outside. That probably works best. And I'm just applying the black acrylic because I've got the basic idea in my mind, because I want a mountain in the background, but I want to make it misty looking, a very misty mountain. So I'm not going to put any snow on it. And in order to get the misty effect, I was going to just leave the canvas white. So you can paint it in gray if you'd like, but I'm just going to leave it white because I want it to fade out. I'm going to put my mountain right there, and I want it to fade out toward the horizon and make it sort of a waterfall in the background. And perhaps this is from the point of the viewer, and there's a waterfall and the mist is just rising at the base of the mountain. Thought that would be a nice scene for today. Maybe y'all might enjoy a misty mountain. I guess is what this is called. I'm gonna do misty mountains. Like lots of little pebbles and rocks on a mountain stream. Painting the canvas black because I want my effects of my paint, my oils that I'm going to be using, to have a different effect. You can use on black, you can put down some green, some sap green, you can lay that down. And then what happens after that is you take some yellow, take a little yellow, and you just dab it here and there on top of the black, on top of the green, and you just dab it along the hillside. Makes a really nice effect. A little tip for y'all. Looks like highlights in the grass. It's really magical. You'll see it. Make you feel like you painted a miracle. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm just painting this one out here. Kind of a scene that I've been on top of a waterfall and Falls Creek Falls here in Tennessee. And the hillside, because you got the hills where the water gets added to the stream. There's gonna be a stream right down here. Put some blue here, and I'll put some green right here. Show you all that too, but you don't need to let the oils dry on top of the acrylic, but the acrylic does have to dry. All right. Now, if you're wanting to do some neat color effects, usually use liquid clear for the oil-based paint on top of it to make it a little wetter, because I like Bob Ross. Bob Ross is a cool guy. He's how I learned how to paint. And I'm just using his technique, and I'm taking it a little step further and saying, well, if I've got an idea, and a canvas is like a doctor's coat, you know, the white coat syndrome. You look at a white canvas and you think, gosh, I'm gonna mess up, So this helps you not mess up. Just get your basic idea down. It's already there. And just enjoy it more. Got all of that painted. I got the sides, the bottom, and I'm gonna leave the top blank because I want my sky blue. So I'm gonna go wash my brush in a bucket of water. Just a regular bucket, empty, and I'll wash it in there and just throw it out. Let it dry for a few minutes, and I'll be back with you in just a second for part 2 with the oil. Hey y'all, just showing you part of the cleanup process. This is keeping it clean after all with the smear technique. And I had on my palette, I had some acrylic black, Bob Ross black gesso. And I just took a paper towel, old shop paper towel, Scott's, and I just wiped it off, and it leaves a little bit there, but it's a whole lot better than washing it down the drain. It'll make your drains clog, so just a little keeping it clean tip there. And the brush you wash in a little bucket and just rinse it out real good. If you have a hose pipe, you might want to do that as a place in the grass where you don't mind getting it a little bald, maybe back around a tree or old garbage can or something. Just something along those lines. All right, that's how you get your palette clean, and I'll be back with you. Hey y'all, since we're waiting for paint to dry, I almost forgot to tell you something, a little tip here that you can keep it cleaner than I can. I have on the past let some of the paint, the acrylic paint dry on my palette, my Bob Ross palette, and this thing is like gold to me. I love it. So I would suggest maybe you can scrape this off with a palette knife, but the best way to get this off, and it leaves a small ring because some of it does dry, is just take a wet paper towel, a wet Scotch paper towel, dip it in a bit of water, dip it in a little bit of water that you have in that bucket, maybe where you washed your brushes, and you just rub it off. Gotta kind of scrub good though. Get most of that ring off, and you can take better care of your palette than I do. I was learning, so I thought I would give y'all some tips on how to keep it cleaner than I can. Because my palette's gonna really take some scrubbing to get it off. Got most of it. Well, you can hear that. You really gotta scrub hard. And get that little ring. And scrub it off real good. And that's how you keep your palette clean. You want it to be nice and, well, translucent, because a lot of paint's been on it. And that's how you clean off the paint. First you wipe it off with a paper towel, and then you go back over it with a small wet paper towel. And you just rub it into the palette, trying to do it when it's wet. If you wait too long, it winds up like mine. So you'd be stuck with a palette knife for hours. So I thought I'd help you out with another little tip. I'll be back in a few. Still drying.